David is in Bexley. David, good evening. What's your question?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I am in the middle of suing a company in the small claims court for a dodgy and incomplete window installation. But when I was filing out the documents for the court, I noticed that the company has gone into compulsory liquidation because they haven't filed any of their tax returns.
Oh, dear.
And so that was filed on the 3rd of November, and they have until tomorrow to reply to my claim, which they haven't done so yet, and I don't expect them to because they seem extremely disorganized. But I was wondering what happens so tomorrow I'll be putting in a claim for default judgment. And if I win that, what happens? I've also put in a request to delay, or I've put in an objection to the striking off of the company. But I was just wondering what might happen.
Okay, well, there's two things here, David. It sounds like you're doing exactly the right things so far. First of all, it's worth checking whether they have an insurance policy that you may be able to claim on, because if they had an insurance policy, and they should have given it to you at the time of installation if you asked for it, then you can speak to the insurance company and you might be able to get the money out of them. The second thing is you will become a creditor in the liquidation, and if the company has any assets, then your judgment will entitle you to a share of those assets. So let's say the company pays out 30p in the pound to its creditors, and I'm making that up, but let's say the company has enough assets to pay out 30p in the pound to its creditors, then you will get 30% of whatever your judgment is actually for. Does that help, David?
Yes, I think so. And if they don't have any cash in the bank, I know for a fact that they've got a couple of vehicles and loads of tools and stuff. Would those be sold to cover?
Those would be sold, but the problem is there are always people who take priority when a company goes into liquidation. The taxman gets the first bit, then the liquidators get their money, their fees, then the employees get their arrears of wages, and normal trade creditors like you come last in the queue. So if they've got a couple of vans that may or may not be on credit hire and some tools in the back of the vans that may be worth a few £1,000, but I'd be surprised if they were worth much more. I hate to say this, David, but I suspect there's not going to be a huge amount of money left in the pot there.
Okay. Well, thank you anyway.
Okay. David, thank you so much for the call. That was David from Bexley. And with so many tradesmen, it is always worth asking before you start with them whether they have any insurance. That can solve so many problems.